Well, hello to you. My name is Dr. Candace Jones. I am the CEO and founder of Expanded Educational Services Success Academy. I wanted to do a quick short series just to teach you parents out there who are homeschooling how to most effectively use our curriculum at home. This will also serve notice for teachers who want to use our curriculum in your classrooms, or even as a supplement to what you are doing in the classroom. So let's talk about mathematics education. It's 2024. The state of education is not looking too good in the public sector. In the private sector, it's kind of lagging behind as well. And for those of you who are at home, you are wanting to really be effective in what you are doing with your young people. So we are here to help you here at Success Academy. So here's what we need to understand about mathematics. Some people feel like it's hard. Some people feel like it's easy. Some people really love it. Some people really hate it. If you're falling on the spectrum of like not liking it or hating it as a parent, I'm going to give you some tips and tricks to make you really learn to love it. And when you love it, guess what's going to happen? Your young people are going to love it as well. And there's a reason why people don't really love mathematics as much as they should. Mathematics is really fun, but you have to have that foundation. It's one of those skills that build and build and build. And without the proper foundation, you find yourself lost, frustrated, and then you're in that situation where you're like, you know what? I don't even like it. I'll just deal with it, but I don't like it. And so if you feel like that as an adult, guess what your young people are feeling like? They're feeling the same way. So we have to make sure they get a proper and sufficient foundation in mathematics so that they can build and build and build the way that it was intended. If you don't know me, let me introduce you to me really quickly. I am a staunch believer in back to the basics, taking education back to the basics, taking education back to the basics. What are the basics in education? In this country, it started way back in the one-room schoolhouse, and that is the model at EES Success Academy. We operate as a one-room schoolhouse in our classrooms. That means we have multi-ages and multi-grade levels in each class. We do that because we have found that that is the most effective way to teach. We understand that not everyone can teach like that. Not everyone understands how to teach collectively. And that's one of the things that we train our instructors to do. We do have an academy where we train instructors how to teach multi-age levels together. That is the most effective way for students to learn. How do you know that's the most effective way? Because way back when we had the one-room schoolhouses, they were turning out graduates who were brilliant, who had great work ethic, great attitudes, great manners, just great all the way around. And as society began to evolve and then the breakdown came, the breakdown began to come in personal respect for self and others. And when that began to grow out of control and spiral out of control, it began to trickle down to children and then into the schools, into the classrooms, and into the education system where no one is respecting anyone and no one is learning anything. So we have to clean that up and take education back to the basics, back when things were simple, back when things were easy. Guess what, guys? It worked. And when something works, you don't throw it out just so you can evolve to keep up with the times. You have to be really careful about that because that's going to land you in such a quandary. You're going to be trying to figure out for years and decades even how to get out of that thing. And that's where the state of education resides right now in 2024. But You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to be a part of that. You can do your own thing with our Finding Success in Mathematics curriculum. So let's get into it without further ado. Let's go ahead and talk about how to most effectively use this curriculum in your homes. The next step after children master the essentials, after they master it, now they're ready to move forward with Algebra 1, not pre-algebra, because pre-algebra is basically the essentials, okay? It's the next step after children learn that foundation, okay? Then they're ready to work those algebraic equations, the functions, all the fun things in life, the graphing, and so much fun. This is so much easier once students have mastered what they need to master. And back in the one-room schoolhouse, guys, students were never allowed to move forward until they had complete mastery. But when we called ourselves evolving as educators and in academia, we left all of that behind and we said, you know what, let's split the kids up. It doesn't make sense to have them all in one room together. Let's separate them by age level. And we'll assign a grade to them and we'll just teach them all together. That sounds okay in theory, because if you think about it, do you really want the 5-year-old sitting next to the 17-year-old? In theory, you don't. You don't, because what you value may not be valued in the next person's household. And so the 17-year-old could inadvertently give the 5-year-old an education that you don't want them to have. They may be talking about things that, the 5-year-old doesn't need to hear. But in our day and time, that's not an issue, because the next 5-year-old is talking about things the first 5-year-old, you don't want them to be privy to. You don't want them to get that particular education of. So since society has fallen in the ways of respect for self, virtues like modesty and kind language and kind subject matter, not having vulgarities coming out of the mouths of young people. Since we've fallen so low to that's like a thing of the norm, really having the age levels together is not even an issue, because they can get a messed up education or exposure from people their own age. So that's not an issue. And what happens really when you put your 17-year-old next to your 5-year-old, it's really just like being a part of the family, because most people have different age groups of children in their house. You may have an elementary child, you may have a high school child, you may have a middle school child, all being siblings in the same house. So sitting in a one-room schoolhouse with multiple grade levels, there's nothing wrong with that. It's really natural. And what naturally happens is your older ones tend to turn around or lean over and help the younger ones. And this is exactly what you want to happen. But algebra is the very last subject in our mathematics program. After students master the algebra, guess what? They're ready for our program called dual enrollment. Go to your local community college or university and take your next level of mathematics. That's going to inspire such a confidence in your young people to be going to college at a young age. And you know what? Since you made sure that they had the foundation, a proper foundation in mathematics, they can go through and breeze through those college courses. Why? Because the material is the same. The material does not change just because it's college. It's still the same mathematical constructs that are taught in the K-12 schools that are taught in the colleges. The only difference is in college, they may move a little bit faster because they have a shorter period of time in which to teach and to learn. Okay. But that just lets you know that it doesn't take 10 whole months for a student to get everything they need from a subject. So if you are struggling with the concept of the one-room schoolhouse and going back to the basics, you really just have to sit and think. Think that thing through. There's no difference in the material, okay? As long as your children are excelling, they're succeeding, they're learning, and they can prove to you they're learning because they can pass the assessments, then there's no issue. Only the sky is the limit to how high and how far they can soar. Okay, so as we wrap up talking about the Success Academy mathematics program and how you can successfully implement it, parents, remember everything you need to know is in the short few pages in the front that guides the parent and the instructor or the instructor how to use the material. It's very simple. There's only one more thing to remember. We are a Success Academy because our students are successful. Why? How? Well, we reteach the information to them. If they do not pass a test, we reteach the information. They go and study and they test again. This is repeated until they pass. Why? Because that's a process of moving that information out of that short-term memory. Okay, that's one of the processes, one of the necessary processes. There are several, and we teach you how to do that within the curriculum. Okay, so here's what you need to remember, parents. Bring excitement to the classroom. If mathematics was not your favorite when you were in school and it's still not your favorite now, change your mind. This is what you got to remember. Your brain believes whatever you tell it. If you tell your brain you hate it, then guess what? You are going to hate it and you will never be able to retain new information because your brain will be blocked. It will be like, nuh-uh, we don't do that. We don't do that. No math. And that's the same thing you teach your children, okay? Also, parents, have patience. If your child is not moving through the textbook at the speed that you would like them to, calm down, recognize, number one, your child is not you. Number two, it takes as long as it takes, okay? And it's okay if it takes a while. Remember, our point is, our goal is to get mastery. And so in our microwave society, we think mastery should be coming like this. It should not, because we are humans and we are people and we all process at different rates, at different speeds. And not one is better or more desirable than the next. Okay? Now, one thing that I have not mentioned, your special needs children. Okay? Number one, most emphatically, we're never going to call them that. They're not special needs. They just learn differently. So they're just like every other human because everybody processes at the rate in which they process. They learn at the speed at which they learn, whatever that might be. Okay, so our goal as parents, as instructors, is to build our kids up, build them up. Set them up for success, not failure. Don't give them excuses or reasons why, oh, you're not doing well because, no, you can get it. Let's try again. And trying again, nothing is wrong with trying again. Remember, the way that you treat your schooling process is going to be the way that your student processes through adulthood. So you are setting the stage, parents. You are the first teacher. You're the most important teacher. So be mindful of the things that you say to your children. If they mess up, try again. How often do we need to try again? Until we get it right. Okay? That's what I need you to remember. And final thing that we need to talk about are just fun resources you can use along with the foundation. Remember, the foundation, it could move kind of slowly, depending upon what's going on with your child. Because remember, you've got to get that information into the long-term memory. So you may want to purchase or even make some flashcards for memory and just go through the cards one by one, over and over again, okay, until they get it. Music, putting the facts to music can be very, very, very helpful because it is so easy to memorize material that is set to music. And you can find that for free on places like YouTube, okay? If you just like to splurge and you like to shop, go and buy them something, okay? Practice workbooks can be helpful. Practice workbooks can be used in the car for long trips or running errands around town. That's a great time to use your practice workbooks. And that's also a time for you to get some peace in your vehicle, because sometimes rides can be a little chaotic when children are young. But if you train them, this is what we do on longer car rides. This is what we do when we run errands. We take care of some brain work. We've got some brain work to do. And number one, brain work is done quietly. So you train your children, okay? And you maximize the time that you have, okay? To make homeschooling, teaching your children a really great experience for you and for them. So that's all I have to say about our mathematics program. You can always reach us for support as you go through your course. You can contact our office manager, Alicia at expandededucationalservices.com if you're needing support during your teaching and learning process. We are here always to help. Enjoy your day. Until next time.